Hi folks, it's Tom, your Frugal Prepper. I'm out here just checking out my spaghetti squash. I have all kinds of them growing down in here. There's a little baby one still. But you can see this is a sign of a potassium deficiency, but I've treated it already, and that one was already that way. This is looking a little bit more than potassium, especially when I look at leaves like this, where large sections of them are starting to die, and it's not yellow around the whole outside part. I have another one down here. I saw this yesterday. I immediately gave them some calcium. That's a sign of a calcium deficiency. And I put just a little Epsom salt down with it to give it a little extra Epsom salt, because magnesium helps calcium transport through the plant. So it's I do that. The book doesn't say to do that, but I do. But we're looking pretty healthy. We got a weed right there, but they started to fall out, and they're just growing all kinds of spaghetti squash all down in here. Those ones are still little babies. They kind of have taken over my asparagus. We have a pepper plant. These are wilting back, right? This is not a problem. This was an extremely hot day. Lots of sun beating down on it all day long. Extremely hot. I would expect that. And I'll check tomorrow morning and they'll probably be back to normal. My spaghetti squash had wilted down earlier too. But I have some bigger spaghetti squash growing down in here as well. Some right there. I got one kind of out in the open right there. Yeah, I got more back in there. There's a couple down here on the end. So there's easily over 100 in here. I've counted. I've tried to count. I've counted like 25 and like a fourth of the bed. So I think there's 100. You know, my celebrity tomatoes are doing good. This was my one that broke off that I retransplanted into the ground. It's growing. It's catching up. And those will catch up. Like in July, those will be all even. My peppers here, they're starting to put on some peppers. Some nanner peppers. Have some more peppers here. They're getting pretty good size. And my beans are doing really good. They're getting big and tall. I'm happy they're taller than I am now. They're actually up here at the top of the T-frame. So another few weeks I'll have them starting to flower and put on beans. And that's all good. My tomatoes here are looking good. Again, this one's a little wilty on top. It is just an extremely hot day. and they get plenty of water. That soil is still moist. They get watered every morning. But adding more water won't help that. It just wilts back to protect itself from too much sun. And tomatoes and peppers love sun, so you know it was a lot of sun today. My cucumbers are doing good. Part of my other county fair cucumber died, but I had one section of it that's still alive, so we'll keep trying to grow it and see. I just don't think those county fairs handle the heat. They just die. They don't come back. I gave it a few extra days this time to see if it would come back. I gave it some extra water. It was dead. So I think they're just not liking the heat. These national picklers, they don't seem to mind it too much. They'll wilt back a little during the day, but they'll come back at night. So yeah, we're doing pretty good. The garden's looking pretty healthy. I'm happy with it. I would expect those spaghetti squash, the way they're producing fruit right now, I expect them to need some extra nutrients. So that's fine. And I have my onion flowers. They're going to be ready here in another week or two to get the seeds out of those. So yeah, I'm happy with that. But everything's looking good. I just went through and pruned my tomato plants and tied them up and strung them up again, pruned all the suckers off. And of these are semi-determinate, so you have to leave the suckers on, but I pruned the really low suckers off to keep them up off the ground. And by the time that's done, those will be taller, or as tall as me probably, and I'll have multiple sticks in there giving them support. So I have a whole bunch more sticks in the garden. But yeah, so looking pretty good.